Morning.
Well, this is Brewing with Company, talk show slash podcast, or whatever the hell you want to call it, where a couple of average Joes drink a cup of Joe and talk about pop culture and video games. And one of us already left.
I'm back.
I was like,
Actually,
what the hell?
a few of us.
I know. I like having three people on because I feel like sometimes we're an echo chamber in here, but
A little bit.
we can have multiple opinions and stretch them out as far as we can. But I think we're all on the same page for the topic of the day, which is basically just, is Xbox even taking itself seriously anymore?
What's the
Uh,
point?
I I'm not. I'll lead it off with this, right? I think I'm a little pissed off. Not pissed off because I'm not an Xbox fan, but I'm a little like annoyed that it took Phil Spencer like 5 years to finally say what has actually been going on in the
Mhm.
background of Xbox, because it's been like 2 years, and I've been saying that it's no longer an exclusive platform. Xbox is no longer a console. And he's basically, as of January, finally said it. And then as of now, I think the only Xbox exclusive that came out was Avowed, right? Or is Avowed on
Um,
PlayStation?
I don't know. I don't know if
Yeah,
Avowed is.
don't
I
know.
don't think anyone
I'm
even played it
pretty
enough
sure.
to say it explain.
Wow.
Yeah, it is. It's for Windows and Xbox Series X. Yep.
Yeah, so it's an Xbox exclusive because it's a Bethesda owned studio, isn't it? It's Obsidian. So yeah,
Obsidian. Yeah.
which is crazy because we went from Fallout New Vegas
Uh,
um to Avowed, which is having super super mixed reviews. It's not doing the best in terms of marketing. It's not doing the best in terms of
be
what
honest,
people.
it's not mixed.
Yeah, it's okay. It's like a 60-40
Yeah.
bad. Like it's.
Yeah. Majority.
I, I think this is just the epitome of Xbox. I don't think you can blame Xbox for Avowed. Obsidian has been on its downfall for a while now, and a majority of that studio left to go create outer Outer Worlds.
That is true. I
So
did hear something about that. I
so
was
that
surprised when I heard that that Obsidian was the one that made this game because I was still what's the word uh uh bright-eyed and bushy-tailed thinking about New Vegas. But then again, when I think about that, New Vegas is pretty darn old at this point. So
I think it's 2011.
yeah, that's crazy. That's
So
crazy.
it's been
14 years.
a hot minute. Let me see. Ooh, 2010, October 19th, 2010. So,
What?
and a
Dang.
majority of
No,
Obsidian,
that's
a
crazy.
majority of Obsidian is working on Outer Wilds too. So I don't think the downside of Avowed can be blamed entirely on Xbox. Obsidian had kind of split its studio to work on multiple things, and I think they tried what was their take at Skyrim, and it just didn't cut it. It just didn't work for them. So I wouldn't put Avowed it as an Xbox issue. However, I would say that I think it's finally official that Xbox is no longer a console, or at least it's not a competitive console. It's a paperweight.
I will say I'm going to disagree with you slightly. I think that Avowed is a victim, or not a, maybe not a victim, but a symptom of what Xbox has been doing for the last few years. And I truly think that um, with the mindset of Xbox right now, they just want something good enough to be on a what's it, Game Pass, um, which can which breeds mediocrity, I think, which is obviously not good for people who create games and develop games because their livelihoods depend on having at least uh, the amount of sales that gets back the production price. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's like a downside to all of the problems in the gaming industry at this time. I mean, look what just happened to Monolith. They they put out piss poor things with WB, and haven't, Kill the Justice League was garbage, and they canceled the Wonder Woman game that everybody was anticipating, and it's just been downhill. So it's a lot of the way these studios are running their ship that it's really it's not panning out. It's just not panning out, including PlayStation Studios. By the way, this
Mhm.
isn't just an Xbox problem. I think because I play PlayStation for exclusivity,
Right.
which Xbox is now gone. Xbox no longer has exclusivity, and because anything that's on Xbox, I can play on my PlayStation, if not right away or less than a year later. So there's no incentive for me to own an Xbox. There's zero incentive, and I'm definitely not buying a Series S because that thing is a potato, and every single studio tries to run shit on it, and it doesn't work.
That's pretty funny. I mean, well, I don't know. Like I heard someone say something not that long ago. I wish I could quote them right now and like give them credit for it. But ever since I've heard this now, I've been trying to think back, and I'm like, holy crap! I think I really agree with that. I think that developers understand that Xbox really isn't the platform, and they've been making a lot of their games. So, and if and console like if they're console minded, they're like very much so optimizing their games for PlayStation
Yeah,
over Xbox, which is funny because it used to be the opposite. When I was in
very
high
opposite.
school, it was all about the Xbox. Because I remember well, I guess my first year in the military, in 2011, when Skyrim came out, um, all my friends in my dorms, in the dorms who had PlayStations, because I had an Xbox at the time, um, they were freaking out because, they had just paid full price for the game, and it was operating terribly. Yet I'm over here having the time of my life as a Dragonborn. So, you know, that is interesting that it's shifted that
Yeah,
way. I don't know. I wish that. Well, actually, I don't know. I guess that's just a symptom of what they really care about. And like they, as in like Xbox, they don't really care about being competitive. Therefore, the developers don't care to put the work in on Xbox, which is what's the word? A disservice to millions of Xbox players. I'll agree with you. I am more of a PlayStation. Well, actually, I'm more of a PC guy than anything now since I built a PC for life. But um, I still feel for people who only have Xbox because they've had Xbox ever since they were kids, or they just prefer the controller, or they just prefer Xbox games. Um, they should have the same amount of care um, dedicated to them as we get from PlayStation and from other developers and stuff. I don't know. That's my rant.
I think this is an opportunity for Xbox, to be honest. I think they've been losing the console battle for since the PS2. I think, like, I have an Xbox One. You want to know what I use it for? It's basically a Roku Fire Stick for me. Like, it's an expensive Fire Stick. That's all I use it for. I think what Xbox need to do is I would love to see some exclusives because I think, Halo was the best. I had an Xbox because my brothers had a PlayStation, and I wanted to be different, and that's what I decided. And I fell in love with Halo. I think it's one of the first games I actually took from starting my character to the end. And then, so if I was Xbox, I would really pump money into Game Pass and just let them rock that. You think even me as a PlayStation console kind of dude, I would spend 20, $30 a month happily to have like some really good exclusives that I could stream through my Xbox or my PlayStation. Um, what they should do is just focus on like an anniversary edition, like every 5, 10 years, throw out a console because they've lost the console battle. And if they just did it as like a specialty, I'd buy it. Like a Xbox 20-year anniversary, I'd buy that. I'd buy a 30 year.
Well, the problem with that, my two issues with that is I don't agree with Xbox Game Pass. I know it has its success, but I don't like streaming games. I don't like the idea of paying a subscription to stream whatever I'm playing because I don't know. I love physical media. I think it's a dying thing. I'm losing that battle 9 times out of 10, but I personally would like to own my game physically, and even if it's in a download, I'd like to purchase it and have it because my idea with like the problem I have with Game Pass is it's like Netflix. It's the same thing, right?
Right.
If you've wanted to watch a show and you go, oh, I'm going to start watching this show, and then in the middle of watching the series, it gets taken off of Netflix, you just don't get to watch it anymore. And that would drive me insane in
Right.
the world of video games if I'm in the middle of playing something that I decided to come late in the game on and they're like, "Oh, by the way, the contract's gone, therefore you don't play it." Because I didn't pay for the game, I paid for the subscription. So
Right.
I'm not a fan of Game Pass, even though it's having its success. However, I I think it would be cool in theory to have this anniversary edition Xbox. But one, if it's just an anniversary edition, how many of these are they gonna make? You know what I mean? So it's probably gonna be a limited edition, limited time thing if they did something like this.
Right.
And the cost of this thing would be insane just to play some Xbox 360 games. I'm
You
not paying a
might
grand. Yeah,
you might
like
as well just buy a, a computer and
but that's my thing is like we talk about exclusivity, right? And that's what has drawn me to PlayStation my entire life is the exclusivity of PlayStation. These studios on, Naughty Dog, Santa Monica, these studios have given me things that I enjoy on PlayStation. That's why I was a big Uncharted fan, The Last of Us, God of War. Even in racing, Gran Turismo, I preferred over Forza, even though that's a little more competitive. I draw heavily towards, even PlayStation 4 era, Horizon Zero Dawn and these exclusives that have come along and just dominated the gaming space in the more linear narrative side, which is like the itch that scratches, for me, none of it matters anymore because Phil Spencer said in January, we don't want to put walls up on our games. There's a huge chance that by the end of this year, you can play Halo on a PlayStation.
Oh, I do.
that's
And he's already said he's supporting the Switch too.
yeah.
So there's a huge chance. I mean, I'm already playing Hi-Fi Rush. You have it on PlayStation and PC. And that was like one of their biggest exclusives of 2023, even though it was a lower end game. So
I
I,
honestly the only thing that was considering because I haven't bought an Xbox since the Xbox 360. Um, the only thing that was pushing me to consider buying an Xbox, and then that's nothing against Xbox, like, but mostly what you were saying. Um, the PlayStation has just had more games that I wanted to play, and then also I started getting into like building computers and stuff. And at that point, I kind of already had access to 90% of games that was on Xbox anyway. But the only thing that I was considering to buy an Xbox for like my spare room because I wanted to put a TV up there was the fact that Fable just got pushed now that just dropped like what a couple days ago, but like Fable was coming out and I was like, oh, Fable was one of my games back in the day, but now I'm thinking to myself because after he says that in January, it's like I'm assuming Fable's gonna be. I mean, you can already play Fable. You can already play Fable 1, and I don't know if you can play Fable 2 or 3 on PC, but I know you can play the first one at least. Um, I was
the
like,
new
if it's gonna
Fable,
come out on the PC at some point, I'll just wait till it comes out then. And by the time it comes out then on PC, it'll probably be cheaper. So, boom.
I mean,
Yeah.
I could play Halo on my Steam Deck right now. I have
Yeah.
no need to buy an
I
Xbox.
do too.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not know
The
that.
Master
Yeah.
Chief Collection is on Steam.
Yep.
Oh,
It is.
well, how about that?
Yeah,
Do
Yeah,
do either of you
there's no reason that. Oh,
exactly. So
do
what
either
you
of you
do,
even own an Xbox right now?
I do. But like I say, it's a glorified Fire Stick.
Oh
We
shoot. I think we lost him.
oh no.
He can rejoin. It I would agree. I think it's a big paperweight right now.
Yeah,
Which actually to touch on it, I I think sucks. I think it sucks that it's a paperweight, right? Because when I was growing up, I enjoyed the console wars because of the competitive edge. I enjoyed the console wars because the Xbox 360 generation, the seventh generation of consoles, actually had a competitive edge. Like when I could bring God of War to the table, people could be like, I got Halo, I got Gears of War. You know what I mean? There was a competition with Xbox that still intrigued me. I was like,
yeah,
oof, like there was always something that made me question like, do I want to go to Xbox this time? Do I want to go to Xbox? But then the Xbox One came along and it's just been crash and burn since then.
mhm.
And I used to be like, yeah, this is why PlayStation's the W, this is why PlayStation's the win.
for
And
sure.
now I'm thoroughly disappointed that I rooted as hard as I did because now I feel like PlayStation is also having its exclusivity issues. The fact that we went the entire year of 2024 with no first party studios to develop something. My PS5 is essentially a PlayStation 4 Pro for me, essentially.
That's actually really funny because I was looking at my because like you, I do like my my physical media, and I don't know, there is something about walking into like your friend's house or whatever, and you did the same thing too when you came to my house and you went straight to my bookcase. Well, not my bookcase, but like my video game stand, and you were just like, "Oh, what do you have here?" And you just like looking through all this. That's kind of nice to have instead of just like you're like, hey, what games do you have? And oh, let me turn on my thing real quick and show you my library. At some point, it's like, it's kind of cool to have it there. But I was looking at that the other day, and most of my physical media, yeah, are PlayStation 4 uh, cases. So that's actually really funny. And I've had my PlayStation since I don't even know since what 2000. I don't even know since well, probably the last my apartment. So at least 3.5 years now. Yeah.
It's like 21, I think, is when
Oh
22.
yeah, it's 25. Yeah. So yeah,
So
22,
22 is
2022
when
is
I
when I got it. Yeah.
got a
So
PS5. Do you
hmm.
still play your Xbox at all?
Me?
Yeah.
No. So I'm being straight up. Like, here's my thing, right? I think we got a double-edged sword here because I think we're a dying generation of going to blockbusters on a Friday night, right? So
Totally
yeah,
agree.
I'm gonna want to see your steelbooks. Like if I walk in because you got that nostalgia, I'm gonna want to go and see what you have. So I think we got partly the issue of the convenience that's coming through. Like, when we were kids, you can order something on Amazon and it'd be there in 2 days. You had to beg your parents to take you somewhere and, you know, go pick it up. So I remember buying Age of Mythology. I
Ooh.
bought the expansion pack and not the first game. I had to wait the entire week just staring at that case, reading what I could do. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I get to be Ajax, you know, and roll with that. But that's I think partly a generational thing. So I think the question is, what do you do as Xbox? Now, do you want to keep on pumping out substandard consoles that eventually after 6 months become a glorified Fire Stick? Or do you decide like, hey, I would rather they take $100 million pumping into some amazing exclusives, you can like stream it. And I know I agree. Like I wish my walls were full right now of just physical media. I love that. But what do you do? Like realistically, in this day and age, in this kind of time, where digital media, where you go online, I mean, how many of us did the whole Call of Duty is being released at midnight tonight? I'm gonna wait outside at GameStop. You know, I did that. I'm sure you guys did that,
Yeah.
and it was awesome. but I think that time has changed,
We're
and that's
adults now.
sucked.
Yeah, we can't be we can't be up
I
that
totally agree.
late.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, it's 8:30 and I'm already down. But no, I damn, I hate that I agree with you from the
yeah.
marketing standpoint of
Yeah.
Xbox. I hate that because the last midnight premiere that I went to pick up a game, oh, this is gonna sound wild, was um have any of you played The Order 1886?
I wanted to.
It was
No.
like the biggest flop for the PlayStation 4's release cycle. And
The order.
it's a very underappreciated game. I'm telling you right now. If you want Van Helsing meets it's like I'm trying to like describe it the best I can. It's a wonderful game. But the issue was that it's only about 6 hours long. You could beat this game in one sitting. And it's still gorgeous in terms of like um it today's standards of graphics. But I think about how I used to do that all the time, right? I did the midnight premiere of Uncharted 3. I did the midnight premiere of God of War. Um, 2018 was the last one, and that wasn't even midnight. It was like 10 p.m. It was
Yeah.
like a early release thing.
So
So I
Spider-Man 2018, I think was the last time
yeah,
I did a midnight release.
and
Yeah.
it's so sad because I agree that there was this video gaming was like in three parts when we were younger, right? There was the first part of the adventure you had to go on to go get it, which is so true. You had to beg mom and dad or a brother or whoever could drive, or
Yep.
you'd walk if you had to. Like you'd go walk and then when you're there, you had to get in line. Pre-orders weren't that big of a thing. You know what I mean? You had your little ticket that they gave you, the little stub, and you'd go wait outside with your number column, and they'd be like, okay, 1 through 30, come on in, and you'd come and you'd talk about the game and bullshit with all the nerds around you that you'd never see each other other than this moment, and then you'd go home, and then there's the second part of the adventure, which is playing the game itself, recognizing that it's this art, like these people spent hours and hours of their lives to put it together, and then there was like the third part of the game, which was going to school and talking about it to your friends. And I feel like you're right. That generation, it's gone now. We're just like Fortnite
Yeah.
and Roblox. Everything's a subscription,
Yep.
and Xbox has turned into the skid. And I think Phil Spencer wants to keep the Xbox name alive. So I
Yep.
could agree with you that the console itself is probably dead. I think the
Yeah.
console of Xbox has got probably one more. I think Phil has already agreed that they're doing
Yeah.
one more. But I think beyond it, unless this console sells like gangbusters and just turns the tides, I think it's gone.
It would have to be like PS2 levels. Now, here's
Oh,
a
nothing's
curveball.
getting PS2 levels.
No, no, it's just not going to happen. But here's a curveball. Now, I agree with you as well. Like, I grew up in England and we didn't have game stuff. We just had game. That was the store that you'd go to.
That's freaking
Uh,
awesome.
I know, it's great. It literally was game with pink letters. If you're not from the UK, type it, you'll see it. But I, I think what would be kind of cool is if they like you got one kind of dying company, one with another, and you had like a Xbox Genesis come out, like partner with like something like Sega. I
Hmm.
think that could do something.
Kind of mix, kind of step away from the console wars and kind of mix studios into
Yeah,
this. I think something like this could work, but my issue is that Phil, even if you got rid of Xbox as a console, Phil has made it very clear that he doesn't want to put a wall for anybody who wants these games. Which exclusivity, I think, even if you take the console out, you still need exclusivity in order to separate yourself from a competitive market, which he's not doing. So I think something like that could work. Like if he was like, "Yo, Sega, let's do a partnership. I'll do a full console release with Sonic the Hedgehog." But then Sega's gonna be like, "But this is only our game." And Phil has given the impression that it's like, well, in a year from now, we can put it on PlayStation. And it's like, no, dude, that's not how you're gonna sell this thing. So I don't know.
Hmm.
Somebody's Alexa's going off.
It's mine. Yeah, that's mine. Man, I swear to God.
Sheesh, that was a few.
NSA. Yeah, she tells me off, man. I swear she's slightly intolerant to immigrants. That's my view on it.
Oh,
Wait, are we allowed to say that? I'm not sure what the pros and
We're
cons are on
we're
this.
not monetized, so you
we're
can
not
say
lying
whatever
about
the fuck
Okay,
you
it.
want.
that's okay because I'm an immigrant, so I'm saying it. So I'm sure that means like you know
Oh, that's
I'll
funny.
wait. I'll wait until we get monetized, and then
So, okay,
I'll just come.
I have a question for you then. You say you don't have a PlayStation, correct?
No, he does.
Me?
Oh,
Oh,
you
I
do.
do. I'm huge. So I have a PlayStation. I love PlayStation,
Oh, okay.
and I have an outdated gaming PC that I need to, graphics card, everything. I need to do everything. I get lazy with it, and I should do more with it.
Okay. Well, I guess maybe then okay. I guess here's a question. I'll just flip it back the other way around. And or if Xbox were to create just one more exclusive game IP, whatever you want to call it, what would get you to buy the next generation of Xbox? Like, would it have to be like let's say the next Bethesda game is Xbox only, not PC, not PlayStation, and like there's it's written in stone. It will never go to PC. Well, okay, maybe not never go to PC, but it will never go to PlayStation.
Yeah, that's a tough question. I, as much as I was disappointed with the Fallouts, if they came out with a new Fallout and were like, hey, it's just going to be Xbox, I'm buying that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's going to happen. I love Bethesda. I mean, don't get me wrong, they haven't always been loyal to their customers, but I, I'm not going to not buy Bethesda. So I think Pat's right. I think exclusivity is a huge part of it. If they came out with a really good Halo or something like that, I'm lining up for that. And I think that's going to be the only way Xbox is going to kind of bounce back. Or they just go 100% into Game Pass. And I think that's the way they're going to go, unfortunately.
Well, if I were to answer that question, I think my answer is that it's not just one. What draws me to PlayStation isn't just I'm an Uncharted fan. It's I'm an Uncharted and The Last of Us and God of War
Yeah.
and Horizon and Spider-Man
Yeah.
and like it's the fact that the library of PlayStation is not just one banger, it's like five banger franchises stacked on top of each other. That's what's gathered me over the years, right? I had a PlayStation 2 because at the time, back then, PlayStation 2 was everything.
yeah,
It still has the most platformed games ever in the history of gaming. There are more PlayStation 2 games than any other console to ever exist, including Nintendo, right?
right.
Everybody and their mother published a game and put it on this damn thing. So that's why I owned a PlayStation 2. But then it gave me, at the time, Resident Evil, like Resident Evil 4 and Shadow of the Colossus. These were the PlayStation 2 exclusives that were like, you got me here. Like, screw
That
Halo.
was a PS2 exclusive. Holy
Technically, Shadow of the
Shadow,
Colossus is
yeah,
still a PlayStation exclusive overall.
that's
So
crazy.
it's like, over time, and then of course PS2 gave us God of War 1 and 2.
Right.
And so I was grasping multiple franchises over the years that by the time the PS4 came around, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Because I tossed the 360 and the PlayStation 3 back and forth. I owned both. I ended up selling my 360 to get a PlayStation 3 because I was like, screw this.
Mhm.
I'm getting Uncharted 3 and I'm getting God of War 3 and I'm doing all these things. So I went with the PS3, but there was at least a competition there. And I wanted Gears of War and Halo 3 and all these things. So there was a competition, but the PS4 was a no-brainer because the Xbox One gave me Anthem and it was like, you can watch cable, and I was like,
I
I
don't.
don't need that shit. I don't need that.
Yeah.
So, and then but of course the PlayStation 5 sold me but I'm in the same boat. Like I'm thinking more as an overall gamer now than I think I ever have in my entire life. Like I don't really focus on one thing because I own a Switch, I own a PlayStation, I own a Steam Deck, I own a laptop. Like I'm gaming overall. So, but here's the thing, Xbox is the only thing I don't own. And there's a reason for that.
Mm, that is a shame. I would agree with just about everything you said. Um, yeah, I don't know if there would ever be one thing like because like as much as a Bethesda um uh you know fan that I almost said something else. I'm a set of Bethesda bitch that I am. From back because like let's be honest, I bought Oblivion and Skyrim on every platform I have ever
Yep.
owned. Like,
Yep.
yo, they had me by the balls.
Yep.
They had me by the balls. But um,
They,
and even though I bought Fallout 4, Fallout 3, New Vegas, 76, and all that stuff, like I bought these. I love them, but like it would have to be it would have to be crazy in order for me to be like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy a console for just one game. I don't know if I could do it. Even now that I'm an adult and I'm making adult money, like yeah, can I afford it? Yes, but do I want to just only like just play the game and then set down the game and then the console, just collects dust or just turns on Netflix for me. I don't know about all that. Like it's sad because I used to be that one guy that said like for example, and now it's actually really funny. I got into God of War a little bit late. Um because I was such an Xbox focused gamer. Everyone was like, God of War 3 came out and everyone lost their minds and everything like that. And I was just like, I don't care. I'm like, I don't need to play God of War. And then I played it, like a couple of years later. I was like, oh my god, this is
You
but
do
like
need to play.
yeah, I know, right? But like at the time in my mind, and that's what I'm trying to like get at. Like even if Fallout 5 is amazing and it's only on Xbox, like could I justify spending most likely $1,000 in my head? Even though yeah, can I afford it? Sure. But like do I really want to spend $1,000 just to play one game? $1,000 and then $79 on top of that to play one game? I don't know. That's crazy. Like, and for them to say that they kind of really don't even care if we even buy their console, that just tells me that they don't care that they don't really they're not putting the pressure on developers to optimize their games. So like even if I do buy their games on Xbox, um, will it even be playable?
Yeah.
you know,
It's it's never gonna I think Xbox is gonna be a weird brand here in the next 10 years.
It's gonna go the
Um
way of Dreamcast.
I don't know about that far. I
Quake was awesome.
Like what's awesome?
Did any of you play the Quake remaster that came out a couple months ago?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
I need that on my Steam Deck so
That would
bad.
be
I
fun.
need
That
that.
would be fun. Yeah.
We,
To
we,
me,
this should
go
be
ahead.
online, right? That should be. We should be able to jump on like the three of us.
Yeah.
Quake remaster. But I think the remaster has an online
Yeah, it
setting. Yeah,
should.
we
That would
probably could.
that would be cool.
Look, I'm still trying to get y'all to get your asses in a Monster Hunter right now. I was birthed, I was reborn into a new franchise with Monster Hunter, dude.
I'm trying.
I'm so amazed that that franchise grasped me in the last month as hard as it did.
Yeah.
Which I have the steelbook for Wilds, by the way.
Nah.
I went for it, dude. Well, dude, on Amazon, it's only like $7 extra for the deluxe edition for the steelbook case. It's not that bad.
Yeah, no, take that.
And it's free shipping, so you're like essentially I just paid for the shipping and it gave me a steelbook is essentially what I did. So I went for it. But I think Xbox and you know what, I'm gonna rope PlayStation into this too. I think both of them are gonna be very different studios because we're coming up on the last years of the PlayStation life cycle, which is crazy to me. This is the first time a console generation has come in and
Yeah,
started to go that I'm like, wait, you just got here. And in
honestly,
reality, it's been 5 years. The
yeah,
PlayStation 5
Yeah.
was dropped in 2020. So it's on the back end. You know, most generations last about 8 years is the rough cycle now. So people are already talking about the PlayStation 6, and that I can't comprehend that
that is
because I'm not I'm still waiting for the PlayStation 5 to be worth my penny because pissing me off that there's been two exclusives. Man, there's a lot
honestly.
going on in all of our houses. My gosh. But I I don't see a world where I don't see a world where I buy an Xbox ever again.
Truly.
And I know
Even if
that's
Fable
been
comes out and
soon.
only for Xbox, even if Fable comes out only for Xbox, I'm like, no.
But I'm so confident that it won't.
Honestly,
You
yeah.
know what I
Like
mean? I'm
eventually,
so confident.
eventually,
Even
it
if it's
will.
not PlayStation, it'll be on PC.
Yeah,
Yeah. I want to say no, I wouldn't. But if they brought out, and I know they're not going to, like, I know that if whatever game they bring out is going to be on PC, it's going to maybe be on PlayStation. 100% agree with that. But for argument's sake, say they brought out a Fallout or something like a Halo remastered, but like a brand new game, that's the problem with disposable income. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it straight up. Like I'll be honest, I would buy one. If there was a Halo, brand new Halo, and it got like 10 out of 10 reviews, I would like to say no, I wouldn't buy it. I would buy it.
what if there was
It'll come to PC.
ODST 2? Wait, was there ever a sequel to ODST?
I don't think so.
I don't think there was.
Oh.
It was,
What if they did? What if they did make an ODST 2 like now, like forever for well, I guess for just Xbox, but like I'd I'd be a little tempted. I'm not gonna lie. I really enjoyed it when I was younger.
I'm too
No,
much of a Sony pony now that it's like
a what?
a Sony pony. I'm a PlayStation
Sony
boy.
Pony.
I'm more of a Sony pony now
Okay.
than ever, and I think I'm too sucked into relying on those studios to keep doing what they're doing, even though a lot of them are crashing. But
That's
it's
good.
like, dude, they're gonna come out with, God of War, National Lampoon, Kratos goes to Egypt, and I'm gonna fucking buy it, dude. I mean, it's gonna be, Atreus's first Christmas, and I'm like, here we go.
Here we go.
I'm gonna buy it because they've developed a loyalty, and I think to your point, Paul, about generations, I'm nervous for gaming as a whole in the AAA space because I think
Yes.
the AAA space is actually kind of not dying. I'm not cynical. Like there's still stuff coming out. Kingdom Come Deliverance is just raking it in right now.
Yes.
Um, Monster Hunter is a
Um,
Capcom exclusive, and it's already past 4 million copies, and it's like the fifth most played thing on Steam. So it's like there is AAA space that is going to continue to keep going, but I feel like the studios that we loved back in the day, I think there's so many of those guys that are getting older and retiring out that like Bethesda Starfield was a huge example of where Bethesda might be going. And then there's, Intergalactic got such bad reception for Naughty Dog and nobody's heard from Insomniac for Wolverine in the
that's
past
true.
2 years.
That
And
is.
then on top of that, Santa
Nobody's
Monica
freaking out with that.
Studios, Corey Barlog's still working on that space drama that he was talking about, but nobody's seen anything on that. Monolith is shut down. Half of Bethesda is shut down. Obsidian
Lots of
basically
it.
has one thing going on. Rockstar is starting to buy studios. This is such a weird. Ubisoft is about to go bankrupt. Like the amount of stuff that is happening right now that started in our generation of gaming, it's just such a complete 180 to what we grew up with that like the indie scene is really probably going to be the only thing that's left here soon that's thriving. Having independent studios be able to find cheaper publishers so they can start slow and then build big. Kickstarters are a great thing. You got guys like Sabotage Studios who made Sea of Stars. They're just comfortable right now after they flipped off 7 million copies. You know what I mean? It's like they're just comfortable making whatever their new IP is, and they're able to dish out a DLC for free in April, and it's like that's super cool that these little indie studios can do things. Pacific Drive was such a warm welcome last year. So like I'm really starting to my thing is this, right? Whether you're an Xbox fan, a PlayStation fan, a PC fan, just explore gaming as a whole, and I think you'll be happy. I think you'll find competition everywhere because I am doing so much better now as a gamer by doing things that I never thought I would do, playing franchises like Monster Hunter, something that's not up my alley at all, and somehow now I'm like, bro, I'm in it. Like I'm Monster Huntered out right now. So it's like just step out of your comfort zone and try something new. And I think it doesn't matter what you own if you can guide yourself to whatever genres you like. I think you'll be in the safe space.
Hey, I ain't got nothing to add to that. That was good. I like that.
Yeah, me neither. You just end
Yeah, ask not what you can do for your country, but what your
it.
country should do for you. That's not
You
the
should
quote, but
you should make fantastic games, focus on character development, plot, and
Yeah.
gameplay.
and make your characters non-binary. People love that.
Okay, no, hold on now.
It's not
Oh,
monetized, right? So I can. I'll just get. Let's not get banned.
oh
I don't
my
know. It's
god,
2025, man. Things are changing again, so who knows? But
that is
if
me.
oh, that's you. That's good.
What?
That's me as well. I don't know if it's him over there.
I think. Yeah, no, I think we got some different opinions, somewhat, but I think ultimately, I think we're just old now,
Oh my
Oh,
god.
and I think that's part of it. I think we're trying to claw onto the glory days of gaming, and I'm not saying there's not going to be a new version of glory days of gaming, but I think we're remembering an old time because, man, I gotta be honest, when I'm bored, sometimes I watch like a midnight release of a game and I watch everyone lining up and like the nostalgia of that. I'm just like, oh, and
I
then
miss it.
oh, dude, 100%. And then I think Modern Warfare 2 is where I became a fan, you know? I think being able to survive that chat room was insane. So, you know, yeah, dude. I sometimes watch hours of that stuff, just them talking crap back and forth, and it's amazing. I think this new age has just changed, and I think that Xbox is struggling to keep up with it. I think they know they don't have the console that's going to beat the PlayStation. I think the top two is going to be, or top three, I should say, is going to be kind of your Steams, your Nintendo, which again surprises the hell out of me after the Wii U. But I think Xbox is right there where it's like it needs to do something and it needs to pick a path. And
Mhm.
don't think console making anymore is where they're at. And I think that instead of dropping $200-300 million into building a subpar console that becomes a Fire Stick, I think that they're better off pumping that money into like a studio and being like, we're gonna have you. I agree with you. I wish we could go back to the way where you would do your midnight releases and all that because that was an experience. I don't see it. So
I think things have changed a little bit too much for that. Like
yeah,
Too
we
much.
care way too much for convenience, and I mean, like
right.
when it gets down to it, like don't get me wrong, I think there's something about going to a midnight release that just had such a connectivity that
Yeah,
to other gamers that you have, but at the
yeah,
same time too, I get it. Like, hey, man, I would rather just sit. Well, not rather, but like I get wanting to just hang out at your house, and then you're doing other stuff, and then when 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock comes around, you're just like, hey, all right, I'm just gonna go play my game
yeah,
now. But like,
You
oh,
know what? You know what made us veterans in the gaming community
what's
though?
that?
Is back in the day when we got these midnight releases of most of these games, like way back in the day,
Yeah.
that was the game you got.
Oh yeah, for real.
There was
The next
there was not
couple
a
of months
day
and
one
the
patch.
year.
There was not a day one patch. If there was a piece of the story that had like a glitch and it would jump, you dealt with that every time you played it. There was no fixing it. There was no patch. There was no server that you could contact and have it completely rebuilt. You either sold it and bought another copy, or that was it. Like if you had something, or you'd pull it out of the PlayStation 2, like lick it and put it back in there. We're different time, man. The memory card, you'd blow on it,
We're a
got
different
my
breed,
save
man.
back.
We're a different breed. Be like that.
Go into school the next day with a completed version of Vice City and be like, "Who wants the mansion?" Yeah.
Damn, that just threw it
Wait,
way back.
So you guys would trade memory cards too? Like, hey, I got a memory
Yes.
card of this, that, whatever.
Because your mom would never notice because everybody had the black 8 gig one.
Yes.
Everybody did with the little skull thing on it. Everybody and their mother had that thing. So you'd be like, "Hey, bro, like I need the 16th Colossus and I would love the mansion in Vice City." And then somebody would be like, "Well, I got that, but I've also got all of the what is it? All the raids in Resident Evil 4. I've got all that too." So it's like you would trade them, and your mom would never even notice. And dude, such a different time. Such a different time.
That was part of the experience. Like, I mean, who remembers when you would get that game that you'd be dying to get, and you're on that car ride home, and your face is glued to the back.
Yeah, you're just reading that little thing inside.
And they would have books.
Yes,
they used to have books inside the game case, dude. That like the little game guides, and you could go to Hastings or like a Barnes and Nobles or something, and you'd find the game guide books. Borders, you'd find dude, and get a Game Informer or get like the game guide books that you couldn't. Your mom would never buy you because they're like $20 books, but you sit there and try to memorize. You're like, where's the stupid feathers in Assassin's Creed? Let me find this shit. Oh man. Well, as usual, I appreciate talking with you guys. This is like my outlet to get my nerd off. So hopefully I'll see you guys on Monster Hunter soon, because you bet your sweet ass I'll be on there tonight. And that is me.
All right. Well, I hope you all stay caffeinated. I know I just drank about 12 ounces of good old Colombian, so I'm gonna be up for a little while. Probably playing a little bit of Kingdom Come Deliverance before I go to bed. So I love it.
Nothing but variety, man. I love it.
I know. I'll hit you up.
Nobody's hopping on Roblox?
I can even show you guys where I'm at.
Is that Fallout?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
That's where we going.
Gotta love it.
Well, stay caffeinated.
Stay caffeinated, y'all.